Hey guys, this is Dan. It's week 4 of Kingdom Fantasy Football League. I promised a video, so here we go. Just want to talk to you guys about and bring you up to speed about a few things that are coming up. And we're going to start right away with the cancellation of the Steelers-Titans game this week. Now, word out right now is that they're going to try to play the game on Monday or Tuesday. So as of right now, it doesn't look like we're going to need to invoke the rule in the rule book. Now, the rule that we made, and I'm bringing it up here for you, is Rule 34. It says, in the event that an owner needs to replace a player due to the pandemic-related illness, the owner can acquire a replacement player on any day of the week. Okay, now that means people like on, for instance, my roster, I've got James Conner and I've got Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, if they don't play this week, I'm kind of screwed. And it's not totally fair that me or anybody else who would be affected with a Tennessee player or a Steelers player, it's not really fair that you totally lose those points and you'd have to play your bench guys, which in some cases really suck, and really won't give you much of a chance. So at least this rule allows you to go into the waiver wire, claim a player by emailing me or texting me that you want to claim somebody that you know will at least be playing. It still probably isn't going to be a starter. It probably isn't going to be very good, but it might be at least better than the garbage you have on your bench. And maybe not. I don't know. But at the same time, because the game is canceled for Sunday, but going to be played again on Monday or Tuesday, we probably shouldn't invoke that rule that you should be able to pick somebody up right now, because of the fact that if they play, you should be having them on your roster. So I think right now it's take a wait and see approach to things and see how things go. And you know, if Sunday morning comes around and they still haven't canceled, I think we're probably in the clear and probably okay to use your Steelers and Titans players. If Saturday they say all of a sudden the game's canceled and they're going to make it up on Monday, I think we're still okay. If it's canceled on Tuesday, I think we're okay. But let's say they don't play Monday or Tuesday. Now, what are we going to do there? Well, I'm not entirely sure what the procedure should be. I believe the fair thing to do in that case, and only in that case, would be to use the carryover points from week 3. Now, what I mean by that, if you are brand new to the league and you don't understand what I mean, here's my roster, for instance, here. James Conner had 38 points in week 3. Now let's say he doesn't play that week 4 game. They don't play it at all on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, and they're not sure when they're going to play it. Then, since it's probably by then too late to pick up a player off the waiver wire for a COVID replacement, we're probably just going to have to go to the carryover point system like we do for buys. James Conner's 38 points would be carried over to week number 4. Is that the most eloquent of plans and ideas? No, not really. I'm certainly open to suggestion. And this is one of those things that, I was trying to see if we could get some answers on during the preseason. And we had some ideas, and it occurs to me now that we really didn't think about what to do if just a single game gets canceled, just one game. We talked about what to do if the season gets called off or shut down over whatever, but not one single game, and we failed to do that, and that's probably on me for not thinking of that. But this is my thoughts, and I would appreciate any thoughts that you might have on this matter as well. Now let's talk about bye weeks, because they start in week 4. On the weekly score sheet, by the way, I always put the bye weeks, oops, wrong one. I always put the bye weeks and who's playing. Like, for instance, down here in the schedule area, on page 2, I will put down who are the buys. And usually I'll do a week or 2 ahead of time as well. Now, week 5 is Detroit and Green Bay, which means, and this is especially for Brandon, so he understands this rule, but anybody else that needs a refresher too, because sometimes we all forget. If you have a Detroit Lion player or a Green Bay Packer player on your team, you have to make a decision this week. If you play them in your starting lineup, that means that player is in your starting lineup automatically in week 5. And they carry over their week 4 points into week 5. So, for instance, BJ and Scott have Aaron Rodgers. Let's say they play Aaron Rodgers against the Falcons, and he puts up 55 points this week. Well, good for you, BJ and Scott, because now next week you get an automatic 55 points from Aaron Rodgers in week 5. Even though he's not playing, he gets 55 points on BJ and Scott's roster automatically. Now, this is a great thing. This is a cool thing. It's totally different. I've never seen it in any other league. I don't know who came up with this 25 years ago or whatever it was, but it's outstanding. It's a cool, different idea. It's confusing as hell, though. So make sure if you have a question about something, let me know. Now, of course, Brandon and anybody else that is excited about this can backfire too, because Aaron Rodgers could put up 5 points. And if Aaron Rodgers puts up 5 points, you have to carry over that 5 points, no matter what. What, I got Cam Newton I could play instead. Too bad. You decided to play Aaron Rodgers in week 4. You carry him over automatically in week 5. And that's the drawback to the carryover system. You got to be careful about what you're going to do. You got to play it smart of who you're going to carry over and who not. I recall about 10 years ago, I didn't play Corey Dillon because he was going into a bye week. And of course, he put up 92 points or something like that. Whoops. It happens. So be careful of your Detroit players and Green Bay players this roster. Now, this week. Now, if he's on your backups, if he's not in your starting lineup, then no big deal. Those points will still carry over to the bench. For instance, let's say BG and Scott play Aaron Rodgers, or they play Cam Newton. Cam Newton this week puts up 24 points, and Aaron Rodgers puts up those 55 points. Okay, that's great. However, because BJ and Scott did not start Aaron Rodgers in week 4, those carryover points go to his bench in week 5. They do not go into the starting lineup. He's forced to play Cam Newton in the starting role. So, again, you got to play it smart. You got to think about what you're going to do. All right? Again, if you have questions about that, let me know. Now, some people have asked me why I put other weeks down, not just the current week. Like I've got week 6 up there right now, and I believe next week on the sheets I'll have 3 weeks at a time. I put those up there so you can start thinking ahead of looking at, let's see, I've got a player on a bye in week 6, and I got somebody in week 7 too. I got to think about, do I want to play this guy in week 5 with his carryover points in week 6, or do I not want to, and then I have to play this other guy 3 weeks in a row plus his carryover? I do this so you can think and look ahead a little bit. I don't know whoever uses those things, but I find it useful just to at least have that information in front of me. So it's a good idea just to see it. All right, let's talk about some things here. Let's talk about this right here. John and Roland, 281 points this week. Good for you guys. Man, look at this. There's Russell Wilson, 64. Kamara, 66. Oh, my goodness. Tree Cohen with his ACL tear even got 17 points, for crying out loud. 281 points. That's going to be a tough one to beat. But it's only week 3. We're only through 3 weeks. So 281 is not a guarantee to stay, but it's an awfully good, tough score for this season. So hope it stays for you guys. 281. Wow. Look at those standings, by the way, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, here in week 4. Wow, we got some races going on. We have got some races going on. Now, not in the Central Division. Central Division, wow. Barn burner here. We got Jerry 1 and 2, Mike and Mike 1 and 2, Steve and Nick 1 and 2, Brandon 1 and 2. And those standing points, wow. 31, 29, 29, 28. They're all close together. That's going to be a tight, interesting battle. And for all we know, that might be the division winner ends up with a 5-8 record during the regular season or something, for all we know. It's possible, I suppose. Well, the other divisions, we got John and Roland. They're undefeated yet. 3-0, man. They're kicking butt right now. 51 standings points. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Rob is taking the lead here in the South at 34 standings points. It's early. It's early. John and Roland with that big lead of 51 points. Seems like, ooh, that's great. Will it last? I don't know. It depends on will his players do what they're supposed to do, right? And then, Jerry moved from last place to first place this week. In that Central Division, but they're all 1 and 2, and they're all standings points are kind of who knows how that's going to go. All right, let's talk about a couple other things I wanted to mention today. Contests, don't forget to get your pick'ems in. We like to see people get their pick'em contests in on the contest page. We get Kevin in the lead right now, and a couple other people behind, Dan and Damon and everybody. Remember, you got to play every single week in order to be eligible for the random team entry at the end of the season. One random team who doesn't win money wins 10% of the pot. So, but you have to play every single week. All right, and don't forget, if you get a perfect week, boom, that's extra bonus points on top of you there for money. All right, in the Survivor, hey, congratulations, Damon. Damon is the NFC champion, winning 3 weeks in a row to start things off. As I said in the email, some people said that they would like to maybe start up the NFC again. I'm all for that. If you want to play again, start the NFC over again, shoot me an email or a message or something. We'll put you on the list. You'll have to pay another $5, of course. And then, like I said, if you decide to play and you are already in it, you can't pick the same people again. So, like, for instance, let's say Greg wants to go in. He can't take Philadelphia anymore because he already used them. If Damon wants to play again and try to win again, he can't take Seattle or Arizona or Tampa Bay because he's already used them. So if you want to do that, there's an option for you. DFS. Wowie, wowie, wowie. Kevin, 210 points last week from 4 players in the DFS to take the lead. Good for you. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, all right. Yep. Of course, Russell Wilson's, not bad. Not bad. And Elvin Kamara, 66 points. Man, if the Packers could tackle, he would have had about 36 points. But that's the way it goes. At least the Packers won. And the best ball contest, as I said, man, this one's pretty much over for a lot of us. There's a few people in it with, Kevin at 633 and Greg at 660. Janelle's at 583. John's a little at 508. Rob's at 552. Those are pretty much our main candidates. Oh, here's Jerry at 512. Those are pretty much it. The rest of us scrubs are down in the 400s or less, in my case, 390. So, that's the way it goes. I know Jerry suggested maybe, at week 9 we redraft and start over. It was like, I'd be all for that because my team sucks. But I don't know if that's entirely fair for everybody else. So we'll probably just go with it because that's the rules we set. Well, one little tidbit to finish up. I don't know if you guys noticed this. We had something that hasn't happened in 2 seasons in Kingman Fantasy Football League. And it happened in the transactions. If you didn't see the transactions for this week, either on the website or here, this one right here. Michael and Mike. They finally apparently remembered the rules that they could actually purchase a player in waiver claims on Monday nights. So they finally bought somebody, Rex Burkhead, this week for $6. All of 2019, Michael and Mike didn't buy a single player. And I thought maybe they had forgotten how to do this thing. Yeah, so good. I'm glad they got somebody, reacquired somebody to get rid of Matt Breida and picked up Rex Burkhead. And they're back in the swing of things of buying guys this week. It's fantastic to see. Fantastic to see. Hey, I'm going to go to the website real quick about a couple things, by the way, in case you haven't noticed these things. These are little things, and maybe you're like, oh, I see this all the time, and maybe you're like, whatever. First of all, of course, they have the predictions up at the top here. I can't believe this one. And even, Brian and Stephen Nick predicted to be even, and John Rowland and the Pope's even. I've never seen that before, even scores. But they usually do these nice little predictions for you to tell you about how you're going to be. I think if you click on them, if I remember right, they open up a little projection thing. Yeah, they'll show a little projection thing. Ignore the receiving rank tied for first. I think that's glitched. It's been glitched for about 3 years now. It always says tied for first for everyone. So ignore that. But I believe all the other rankings and everything are correct. And it just tells you a little breakdown of who they think are going to be the winners. Totally ignore these prediction numbers like Ben Roethlisberger only getting 12 points, Derek Carr only getting 11 points. Totally forget those numbers. Those are the CBS projections using their base system for scoring. They don't use our Kingman Fantasy Football League scoring system for these projections, so they're just a baseline to give it, but they're not really the real deal. So don't go nuts on those if these are the correct things or not. And of course, my internet's slow. There we go. I'm sure in the league timeline, you've probably seen these recaps. League recaps are kind of interesting to read. Contrary to what a couple of you think, I do not write those. Those are written by Fantasy Journalist, and that's just some robot program that just enters data in and writes a little article for you. But it's kind of interesting. I always love when you read your individual one. You know, there's a league one, and then there's one for your individual matchup. And sometimes it allows you to enter in a quote. It'll be like, "Hey, Coach Poppy, what'd you think about this game?" And then you can type in comments and stuff. I always type in comments, and I like looking at other people to see if they typed in any comments too. It's kind of funny, especially if you can be a smartass like I am sometimes. Let's see. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to see if I can still see it here. I don't know if you guys saw these either. Is it still here? Oh, yeah, here in the preview. Sometimes I have a preview, like on, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in there. They do a preview of your matchup. And in the preview, I kind of thought this was kind of cool. It gives you some stats on it, some all-time series notes. They give you their optimal lineup. It's like, okay, whatever. And it's got some news about your team players and stuff. So that's kind of neat. But the other thing that I really liked is in the review from your individual game. When you do your review for your individual game, like I said, it'll do the write-up like I told you, and sometimes you do quotes, but then it does more game notes, and then at the end, it gives this playoff odds thing. Yeah, it gives playoff odds for everybody in the league of what they think are the playoff odds. You know, like right now, John and Roland have a 92 and 0.8% chance of making the playoffs, and 12.9% of winning the championship. Now, again, that's just using their statistics and their numbers. Doesn't mean that's incredibly accurate, but that's what they guess. And the numbers, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. If you haven't looked at the standings tab before, it does give the standings versus using wins and losses. It doesn't tell you about our standings points at all. Now, I say that because if you go to the sub-tabs, especially the playoff race tab right here, it'll bring up what they think is going to be the playoff race in case, hey, here's the seeds, the 1 through 8 seeds. These are the guys making the playoffs. Well, they're going to be pretty close, but they're not going to be entirely accurate because we do these standings points. They do the wins and losses on this. And so that's how that works. And I think they use the points, too, as a tiebreaker. So don't rely on these. It's a good ballpark guess for, here in the early part of the season, but they are not the exact numbers of what you're going to be. If the season were to end today, is BJ and Scott really going to be the 5th seed? I don't know for sure. We'd have to check the standings points to see if that is true or not. These power rankings are pretty accurate. Believe it or not, these power rankings are fairly accurate to our breakdown on the standings points, because our standings points, you give the points for your more points scored and your wins and whatever, and so does this, with the points you've scored, your record, the breakdown section. These are actually pretty close to where you will probably be in the playoffs or not. These are actually a little closer than that playoff race one. And I like this one, the manager stats. If you haven't seen this before, it tells you how many times you've been correct on making choices in your lineup and how many risks you've taken, of taking guys that the computer said you shouldn't take, or vice versa. Now, this column here, the points earned and lost, this is going to go down the toilet as soon as the bye weeks start, because their computer algorithms do not count in our carryover points. So all of a sudden it's going to say, the Vatican Duo really screwed the pooch this week. They left 73 points on the bench, and they forgot to play 6 players. Well, the algorithm of that robotic system doesn't understand that Rob actually did play those 6 players as carryover guys, and he actually won his matchup instead of losing it like the computer says. So make sure, this is just going to go down the toilet in a couple weeks. All right, now I have no idea what the heck is going on with my voice. It was just fine when I started. It was fine all day at school. I don't know what's going on. Oh no, maybe I have the COVID. No, I don't have the COVID. I'm just kidding. But that's some stuff for you this week. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight. Again, keep in mind those things about Tennessee and Pittsburgh players. Keep in mind about the carryover points starting next week. Monday Night Football, we're going to be at my house here. Janelle's making her lasagna. We'll make some cheese dip. We're going to have some desserts. We're going to play cards. So bring your coins if you want to play cards with us. Let's see what else. And I don't know. That's about it. I'm excited. Should be a good week of football. All right. You guys enjoy your night, and hope you enjoyed this video. It was really informative. I know it wasn't really funny today. Maybe sometime I'll do another funny video like I did last year or something like that. I don't know. But I just wanted to be informative about these things. All right. That's all I got for you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.